What's up guys, my name is Blake and today we are back working on the e36. Today we're going to be focusing on the supercharger kit for the e36. If you guys haven't seen any of my last videos, this car has the Harbinger kit from Hydemotorworks installed. And today we're going to be installing their Black Edition upgrade kit. I'm going to take you guys through every step of the way, show you guys how to install it, and see what it does. Alright, let's get right into the install of this thing. Alright, we've actually just got the upgrade kit just chilling in the driver's seat. If you guys didn't see my last video, we installed the passenger Sparco seat. Alright, so let's get this hood open. I'm just now realizing that I had this thing started with no map whatsoever. I can't believe it even ran how it did. As you can see, everything is pretty much set up. We don't have a belt on here only because our last one snapped. The first thing we're going to do is remove the supporting bracket here on the supercharger and then remove this big coupler on the back. Make sure you don't lose all your parts. Should slide off pretty easily. Here you can kind of see some of the underneath stuff. This is 3D printed brackets that I made myself. This goes to the bypass valve, and then this will go to your idle control valve, just in case you're wondering if you're installing this right now. Now there's also this hose down here which holds the supercharger onto the outlet pipe. I'm going to rip that off now. Now we're going to remove these 4 Allen bolts, same size as the one from the cross section. Just like that, all of these supercharger pieces should be off, and this should lift right out. Okay, well, it's got to come off the outlet pipe, so it'll come off with some wiggling. Push this down, actually. Out of the way. There we go. All right, I brought you guys inside to my messy garage bench. If you're wondering why it's such a disaster, we have another much larger project here if you guys haven't seen my other videos. But anyways, first thing we're gonna do is take off this cap here, which is just these 3, and then you'll have to hammer it off with like a rubber mallet. Now these are longer hex bolts, and they do have a lock washer on there, so don't lose that either. We're gonna be reusing these bolts on the upgrade kit, as you can see. This is my weapon of choice. This is press fitted onto a bearing that's up here. So all we got to do is knock it loose from that bearing. Sometimes what I like to do is pick it up by the cap and hammer it around like this. And eventually it comes loose, just like that. And here I'm going to show you one of the disadvantages of having the stock cap. This is the stock cap that came with the P2 from Speedmaster. I've had to cut a huge slit here on both sides because the belt actually needs a little bit wider of a path, and even with all this cutting it still would touch it a little bit. As you can see, the P2 cap is completely in half, so there's no way that the belt is going to have contact with the outside of the cap. Now we're going to be using a jaw puller to try to get this bearing and the little cap on the back off. All right, we've got the pulley puller, the bearing puller on here, and we're going to see what happens. Just like that, it's coming right up. Okay, I think I got to put something underneath this so that it can actually push it up because it's getting caught on this socket. Should work, right? 11mm, and we will take this out a little bit. Should get a nice good grip now that it can get underneath that sprocket there. Wow, that was a lot easier than I was expecting. Now we're gonna finally install the pulley that goes on the P2. Obviously, this should slip right over this. Here, I'll pick you guys up so you can see. All right, so I cleaned it up just a little bit. This should fit on there. I'm assuming, honestly, that this is going to have to be pressed on. I don't think they would make it fit on there loosely. All right, boys, here's what's happening. We're taking this, we're heating it up with a torch, and then we're going to press it onto the supercharger. Hydemotorworks told me that it'll go on a lot easier this way, so we'll see what happens. I think we might be down. Got it on, you guys. We finally got it on. It took, honestly, a few attempts because I'm a little smooth-brained. But if I can give you any tips, I would say don't be afraid to heat it up because you have to really heat this thing up. Have a socket on, especially if you don't have like an actual press to put this on. Have a socket by you so you can fully press it on. Now we got to get the bearing back on, and then we can get the belt on and the new cap. All right, like I said, now we're going to get the bearing on here. I'm not sure if they want me to keep this on here or not. I'm going to say they don't. I don't think that's going to stay. So we're just going to... Thank God that was easy. I'm going to grab a socket too and... Nice. Perfect, you guys. This is going really easy now. Just make sure you put this on here. I also kind of have to guess where this is going because I have no idea. Very nice. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this loose. That way, if I end up having to adjust it, I don't gotta take it off, because getting this off can be a pain in the butt. So now it's time to start putting stuff back together, you guys. All right, now we're gonna focus on getting this pulley off and the new one on. If you don't already have the kit installed, installation is still the same. All you gotta do is pop off the 3 bolts that hold the power steering pump pulley on, and you're gonna sandwich the new pulley in with the original bolts. Ooh, and there is your original 180 millimeter pulley, or whatever you had on there, or nothing if you didn't have it on there. And here's the difference of the two. The new 180 millimeter pulley is actually a little bit larger. I'm assuming that is because the pulley on the P2 supercharger is going to be bigger too, so this will offset that difference. Here is a good comparison of the two different teeth. This one just is a regular spline belt, this one being a T5 cog. This one is going to rely a lot more on friction, but it shouldn't snap on me. All right, guys, so I just got back from the hardware store, and that is because I need to get slightly longer bolts for this power steering pump pulley. First of all, I had this installed with the stock bolts, and it did fit, but it was already difficult to get on. But the new pulley is actually just slightly thicker here. All right, I think we finally got this thing on. Everything looks good. All right, you guys. Now we can start installing the supercharger back onto the bracket here. Trust me, this gets easier once you've done it a handful of times. Getting the first bolt on that bracket is such a pain in the butt, but the rest usually come pretty easily. Belt tensioner here. We're going to tighten it as much as we can. Just 8mm Allen. And then I believe it's a 16 millimeter socket out back. One last thing to do, and that is to hook this intake system back up. And I can't forget to put my MAF on there this time, because moving it without it was tough. This can be a little tricky when it's on here. Wow, can't believe we're here, guys. We're almost there. Just the MAF and the intake. And this should go on here just like so. All right, let's clean her up, plug in the battery, and go for a very short test drive. Whoa. Something's up. It didn't take me long to figure it out. My dumbass forgot to hook up the outlet. So I'm gonna get that in and then see you in like a second. That took a second, but it is on. Getting this on, especially in my case, can be such a pain in the butt because the frame rail's right there. And it's actually like up against the freaking power steering lines there. But besides that, we're good. Got the MAF on. Also, if you're wondering about my intercooler setup, this is how it looks. It's actually routed straight down through here and then back around up through here, and then it goes underneath there and it comes up there. Attempt number 2. Look at that. Alright guys, I've got you the camera, my phone set up on my rearview mirror. I can't think of a better spot to put it. Got my fire extinguisher. We also don't have a front bumper because it's very low. I don't feel like dealing with that right now. Tighten the camera thing because it's like falling apart right now. Not great. I don't know if that's any better, if it'll hold. We'll see. We'll turn back around and see what happens. Scraping. Oh man, I love this car. I really miss it. I haven't driven this thing since October of 2024. I mean, I've driven it, testing stuff. It hasn't left more than my little area, you know? Whoa! So far, so good. No cops around me. The cops have been out today, too. Stuttering. I still got some tuning stuff to work out. Like good old Yui here. Everything seems to be running well. I'll give her some beans here, see what happens. It's still a little cold, but. Wasn't even making that much boost. Whew. Oh my god, I miss everything about this car. The smells, the way it sounds. It drives so nice too. I don't think I made that much boost. Went up pretty high RPMs. I don't think we lost our belt, which is the whole reason we did this install. I'll do a quick rev for you guys. Would you look at that? We still have a belt on there. It's not snapped. Everything looks good. The car's running again, guys. I can't tell you how happy I am. So shout out to Hydemotorworks. They're the goats. Speaking of, you guys can use my code Blake36, like Blake E36, but with no extra E, Blake36. You get it. 10% off your supercharger on their website. That's a lot of money to save, so you should go do that. And it helps me out a lot, like big time. So check that out. Check out their website. Check out their kits. I cannot wait to get this thing like actually dialed in. My goal for this car is 14 PSI with the supercharger. I've gotten a max of 10 PSI, but I've never actually had boost like past 5,000 RPM without it snapping. So hopefully we can do that this time, dude. That's a crazy accomplishment. And 14 PSI on a stock motor, stock head gasket, stock studs, stock pistons, stock ring gap. But I did just rebuild everything. I should have put ring gap in it, but I didn't. But, you know, we'll live and learn, see what happens. Maybe we blow it up, maybe we don't. 14 PSI is kind of the limit of what these things can do on a stock motor. So I've heard. But yeah, I think that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. And if you're here because you wanted help installing your black upgrade kit, or you just wanted more info on the Harbinger install, good luck to you, first of all. But if you have any more questions, hit me up in the comments. I will respond. But yeah, till next video, guys. Thanks.